I truly believe, Marlo, that it's you and I, it's people like us who have been through the system, who are the ones who are going to change the system and lift up our community.
I think you're right. I think people like you and I who come home, and some people still in there right now getting ready to come home at some point, we're going to be able to make a change and show people that, hey, listen, just because you make a mistake in your life, it's not over, right? One of the quotes I always say is, it's not where you start that defines you, it's what you make of it.
To have once been a criminal is no disgrace. To remain a criminal is the disgrace. I formerly was a criminal. I formerly was in prison. I'm not ashamed of that.
After my violation, my year flat violation that I did, I had applied for this job at a youth center, right? It was in South Hayward. I was from North Hayward. We were funking at the time. So I went into this, this interview strapped. I had a 38 in my back pocket while I'm interviewing, for this janitor position, right? Yes. But when I get out, there's this OG homie sitting, at his desk, and he's like, "Hey, youngster, come here," because I had the wet got bird in the back of my head, and you could see it and whatnot. And he's like, "Hey, I run this tattoo removal program. Would you be interested in taking that off?" And I was like, not really, not right now, And then I ended up doing my next commitment, but he had planted that seed, right? And this was a homie from my neighborhood, right? He's an OG homie from my neighborhood who had a lot of love and respect, right? I knew his family and everything. When I got out, that last time in '98, I went and visited him, and I hooked up with this program, and that was like literally my first step. And, and from there, literally, I just freestyled it and sort of just, doors opened as they needed to open for me. And, I would be, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. I'd be at the bus stop and some random person would start talking to me about God. They say that, that God speaks in, different ways. And to me, he speaks to me through people, right? So anyway, that's sort of, my story. That's how I became ready. And that's how I just followed the breadcrumbs to lead to where they are.
That's good stuff because, everybody don't do things the same way, right? You have some people that have to plan things out. And even though you plan things out, things still hit the fan, and you got to have that mental capacity to go and stick it through anyway, right? Some people don't have to plan out. Some people come home, like you said, not really sure what you were going to do, still kind of like trying to figure this thing out. But then you started letting things come to you, and you didn't push them away, right? You accepted, you embraced it, and you was able to move on through your life. And as you grew on each level, you kept growing and growing. And to the gentleman I know today, that's a good guy, man, real good guy, man. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. So listen, John, I'll be honest with you. I started this show because I was sick and tired of always hearing about the ex-offender or the ex-felon who went back out to the community and robbed somebody, right? Things like that, and not ever hearing much about the people like yourself and myself who came back into society and doing great things for their family, their friends, in society, right?
That's the way that the media works. They always work on, what's going to get the most publicity or, the most clicks on the internet or whatever the case may be. And it's usually always, negative stuff, and that's what, that's what sells. But the fact of the matter is that there are many of us that are out here doing these positive things that, we've done our time, right? And however, we're still dealt with all these different obstacles. I got my brother Terrence Stewart out in Southern California, who's working with the Time Done project. Because once you do your time, right, that's it. It should be a wrap. People should be able to go out there and live their lives. And I'm blessed that I was able to do that. I went. It took me 8 years to get my college degree. Because I had work, I had a family, had gotten custody of my 4-year-old daughter. It's all these different things. So I started taking a college class here, a college class there. Eventually got admitted to USF, University of San Francisco, and earned a bachelor's degree in organizational behavior and leadership. Little business degree. After that, I got accepted into law school, but only ended up doing a year. I'm a law school dropout, but I'm okay with that.
I want to cut you off, Jay, but let me tell you something. You have a degree in that as well, brother.
I know I do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You gotta be
Yeah, no,
creative.
absolutely. And and the same thing with my career, it's like I that youth center where I was doing my community service at, right, for the tattoo
Yeah,
removal program.
yeah, yes.
They loved me, right? And when I was at the point where I was able to get a job in my program, in my drug program, they were actually looking for me because they had an open position in the after school homework program, right? And they wanted me to lead that program. I went and interviewed for that job. I got it. That was my segue into human services and doing this work, and just steadily progressed and progressed. Got these different positions. That have led to me, doing what I do now. As a, director of diversion and reentry. I have these amazing programs. I work with the, amazing staff who, themselves have gone through trials and tribulations and are now out here doing the work. I truly believe, Marlo, that it's you and I, it's people like us who have been through the system who are the ones who are going to change the system and lift up our communities. That doesn't mean that we can't have allies and we can't, work with the, with different systems to change, but we have to be the ones at the forefront who are leading the change.
I think you're right. I think people like you and I who come home, and some people still in there right now getting ready to come home at some point, we're going to be able to make a change and show people that, hey, listen, just because you make a mistake in your life, it's not over, right? One of the quotes I always say is, it's not where you start that defines you, it's what you make of it, right? And
Yeah.
I think we're doing some great things. I can't wait to continue to work with you, La Familia, and all the great things you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. And one thing, you just made me think of something. I have so much love and respect for the lifers that are coming home, right?
Yes.
Who have done so much time behind the walls, right? And then have worked so hard to change.
Absolutely.
Right. And I've put in that work, and to learn how to be restorative, to learn how to have forgiveness, to learn how to take accountability, to do all these different things that it really takes to be a good human being. Because in the end, all we have, is like these spiritual principles that we live by, right? It's like gratitude, empathy, humility, all these things is what we have. And that's all we have. And I think that lifers are going to have a big part of that, because they just come home with so much game that they've been working on.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. In fact, we see lifers, you probably see more than I do, in your line of work, but I come across the lifers, as you know, the things that I do, and a lot of them have booklets of things they're working on, man, and they're great, good things. And I'm glad they have another chance at life, after prison, so they can come out here and help change some of the recidivism that we see, amongst our people with all this gun violence and things of that nature. Right now, there's probably somebody watching this video. They at a point in their life where they, grew up like you and I, had a lot of struggles, and right to this day, they're still going through a lot of things, Jason, and they just don't really know what to do, how to move forward, and how to get over the hurdle. What piece of advice would you give somebody who's probably addicted to some kind of narcotics? They want to get off, they get out of jail, and to begin to recover, to pull through, and then strive.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just got to give yourself a break. You know what I'm saying? We put so much pressure on ourselves. It's really, it's one step at a time. You know what I'm saying? And these steps turn into feet, and feet turn into miles, and miles turn into into years, and all this. When you first start, it's like you don't know anything, and it's okay to not know anything, and it's okay to just be this blank canvas, and just to learn how to live life, and that's through process.
If you had a chance to speak to let's say 14-year-old, maybe 15-year-old Jason. I don't know how the conversation would turn out, but what piece of advice would you give him?
I don't regret any of the decisions that I've made in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because they've brought me to where I am today, and I was just, I was dealing with a lot of, sort of emptiness, as a kid, because, I had this dysfunctional family and everything else, and dealing with all that stuff. I don't really know what I could have told myself, besides hold on or something. I was in foster care when I was 14, but then again, it's like everything that I've done has allowed me to become who I am today, as this person. I'm a good father. I'm looking at my phone right next to me. My 23-year-old daughter's texting me, and I'm raising this 14-year-old daughter. We're getting ready to celebrate her quinceañera right now. I've been married for 17 years. We've been together for 21 years. Just everything that I have, I think is a direct effect of the experiences that I had as a young person.
So let's talk a little bit more, if you don't mind, your better half, your other half. A lot of times, people wonder, how is this man able to get so many things accomplished? And for me, my wife is a big help to me, man. I don't know, man. Without her, where I would be right now, definitely God, but her, she's really helpful to me. About your wife, let's talk about it a little bit. You say you've been married how long?
Yeah, we've been married 17 years. We've been together for 21 years. We met, matter of fact, June of 2000. We met at this youth center that I was working at as a prevention specialist. And she actually used to be first a participant, then she became a volunteer, then she became a staff person, and then she went off to do other bigger and better things. And she came back to get some information about this grant that she was working on. And I had to be very helpful and introduce myself to her, right? And I asked her for a phone number. She gave me her business card. We went out that Friday night and have been together ever since. So here we are, 21 years later, right? So and this woman is the most powerful, strong, loyal, brilliant person that I know. It's like right now she's working, as the executive secretary treasurer of the Alameda Labor Council. Has like 135,000 union members that she's responsible, for, and different areas. She has encouraged me like so much to do college, to not settle, to continue to further my career, to opening doors for me, just all these different things. And it's just a blessing to have somebody that that you can count on, and somebody that that you're a partner with. Who knows where I would have been if I hadn't, if I wasn't with her, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I can totally agree, man. I just told you I'm the same way, same boat, man. So it's always great to hear about the wife or the husband of the wife who's that's doing great things, and together you guys make this powerful couple, man. And got your grandkids and your children, man. Great stuff, man. And this is the type of things I said again, we don't hear about this. So that's what this show is about. It's about shedding light on these type of things, right? We're not trying to go back in prison unless we go in there to go speak and encourage some people. Then we come back home to our society and our family, right? And so
exactly,
you're living proof, man. And I'm grateful for you, my man.
Right on. Likewise, Marlo. I appreciate it. I'm really appreciate being connected with you, and just the different things that I'm learning about what you're doing, and how you continue to uplift our communities and be of service, because that's what it's about.
Most definitely. Hey, you told them a little bit about La Familia or whatever. I'm opening the floor up to you right now, and if you don't mind, explaining to me some of the things that La Familia do for our community, man, because you guys are at the ballpark.
I used to work for La Familia, like I said earlier, in the early 2000s, and it was an organization. We had about I think about 35 staff, 35 or 45 staff. And now, in 2021, we have over 250 staff. And we started off in Hayward as this, small counseling agency. And now we have, these 7 different programs that are having impacts all over Alameda County, and now moving into Contra Costa County. I'm the director of diversion and reentry services. So I'm working to keep people out of jail and prison, and to work with people who come home from jail or prison. We have, focus on diversion with people with mental illness and substance use disorder. So we have a diversion program that works in partnership with the district attorney's office, that when people are arrested for certain crimes, that they get the option of, instead of going to Santa Rita to the jail, they get to come to our program and get connected directly to services. To me, that's system change, right? We're looking at pushing the system to do things differently. It's the only jail diversion program right now in Alameda County, and I actually got to help build it from the ground up. So I'm really proud of that. We have a focus on is peers, right? People who are directly system impacted. In my program, we specifically, recruit people from our population that we're serving to become peers in the program. And then from there, we actually hire them as peer support specialists in different parts of the program. And continue to provide professional development for them. So because if we're going to be intentional about hiring, system impacted people, we also have to be intentional about supporting their success and their professional development. So I've actually helped within La Familia to build a professional development curriculum for peers that we use as an academy for all of our system impacted people. So that's one of my proudest things that I work on. I'm a peer, I'm system impacted, regardless if it was 20 something years ago, all those experiences still, guide the work that I do today.
And I want to point something out, Jason. I think that you can speak to, if you don't mind. Some people hear La Familia and they automatically assume that this is some kind of program only for Latinx community. That's so far from the truth. Can you speak to that for me, please?
Absolutely. This La Familia started in the 70s, right? It started around the same time as, La Clínica de la Raza, Centro Legal de la Raza. It was all these, Chicano giants, right? All these community civil rights leaders in the community who recognized that there were needs, for our community that was being left behind. And these things were being run in tandem to, like what the Black Panthers were doing, what West Oakland Health Center was doing, all these different things, right? Bubbling up at the same time with these civil rights giants. But through the years, we've transformed from being this, Latino-centric counseling program to this program that's here to meet the needs of the community. We are intentionally inclusive of every single community that we represent, that we provide services to in the community, and especially with diversion and reentry and the work that I'm doing. We're working with system impacted people, and who is most system impacted. It's Black men, it's Latino men. So these are the communities that we're reaching out to, and I'm very intentional about in my hiring, the people that I work with, that I support, that we have to mirror the communities that we're serving, or else it's not inclusive. I'm a strong advocate and true believer, in Black Lives Matter. I'm a true believer in that we have these intersections between colonization and slavery. I'm a true believer that when we fight for Black rights, we're also fighting for Latino rights, because rising waters, raise all ships, right? So yes. we're fighting in this struggle together. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we do in changing the system, and changing the criminal justice system, all that is to raise us all,
Right, no doubt about it. And I'm not even sure if you know about this. I was working on something, County of Alameda, something I wanted to see happen. It's been about a year or so I've been working on it. And just recently I started to get some momentum. And it was to make Juneteenth a paid county holiday. And so I was getting some pushback from the county, and I was told that I have to get some support from the community. And so I got in contact with Aaron, right? Aaron Ortiz. I'll let you say who he is.
My boss. That's my our CEO of La Familia.
And so I got in contact with Aaron and said, hey, look, I've been working on this. I need some support. I got some community-based organizations helping me, but can you help me out? Man, Marlo, say less. Right away, shot me a logo. I'm full support of making sure Juneteenth become a holiday in our county. And this before this stuff that just happened with the federal government. This is before that. Aaron was on board right away. Before I let you go, man, why don't you talk to the audience a little bit about how they can get in contact with you or just La Familia?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of programs. If we're talking any system impacted people who are still out here, who may still be on probation, felony probation. If you want to get a job, if you want to get connected to some workforce development services, we like I said, we have this program, this AB 109 reentry employment program, and contact me and I can get you connected to that. Also with the housing, housing is such a critical issue, and people struggle to get that first month's rent and the security deposit and all that. We can help out with that. And all you have to just prove is that you've been system impacted, and we can get you connected with that. You know, if you're interested in learning more about the diversion work that we're doing and want to be an advocate for the system change work that we're doing, you know, with this misdemeanor diversion program, you know, please, again, you know, get at me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to give you a tour of the center. You know, we're doing great work. La Familia is, you know, on the cutting edge, you know, to lead this work and to, you know, help push and continue to push and change the systems that we're working within, to be more restorative, to be less punitive, to, you know, just help people to, you know, to have that, you know, second chance at a first class life. That's it.
There you go. Man, I appreciate every bit of it. So look, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy life and your busy schedule to talk to my audience, man. And it's been a pleasure knowing you, and I can't wait to continue to do work with you, my man.
Absolutely. Same here.
All right, Jay. Thank you, man.
All right, man.